And
Press.
welcome to another action-packed, exciting hour of the Smoky Mountain Rewatch Along Project. This is podcasting the way it used to be and the way you like it. This show is a production of the Something Else Podcasting Network, and it is episode number 129 of Smoky Mountain Wrestling from July 16th, 1994, taped July 5th, 1994, from the Northwest Ash High School in Warrensville, North Carolina. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is the Jason Jet to my easy money. It's Trae. Trae. How the hell you doing today, AA?
Pass.
It's in your contract. You do not have to answer that question. Um, first, I just want to rip off the Band-Aid at the start of the show. There's no This Week in Wrestling. Dave decided he was too busy being at the Vince McMahon steroid trial to put out an issue this week. And even though I could at least talk about Bash at the Beach because that's this week, I just said fuck it and we'll just talk about everything next week.
Good enough.
So, yeah. Um, so do you want to talk about Bob Caudle now or wait till the end of the show?
Well, I guess we could talk about Bob now, and we talked about him a little bit on the Tuesday show, but like we've talked about, we Bob is kind of like the grandpa of the show. He's from a time where the wrestling announcer was like a real guy, like a fucking grown man who did this shit for a living. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like, and there are a lot of modern ring announcers or modern announcers that I like, but it's like Michael Cole. I firmly believe Michael Cole's whole life and persona is being a wrestling announcer, and Bob is just like this is a thing that he does. Like this is not his whole identity, and it was the same with guys, somebody like Lance Russell too. Gordon Solie was different. Gordon Solie seems like he just ate, slept, and breathed being a wrestling announcer, but guys like that, it was when the announcer was not a character on the show. The announcer was like almost kind of like in a narrator type role, right?
And I think a lot of it has to do with because a lot of the people, like I forget if Lance Russell, but like Dave Brown, he was a newsman. Uh, Bill Mercer, was a news person. He was a news reporter.
Yeah.
Bob Caudle, was the weatherman in Raleigh, North Carolina, where they were taping, according to Wikipedia, the always reliable Wikipedia, Atlantic Coast Wrestling. And that's how he ended up, getting his foot in the door of the wrestling business. And I think that has a lot to do with it because, these are people that not just, they're your wrestling announcers, they have to be the trusted voice. They still have to, not be a cartoon because on Monday they got to go do their real job now.
Yeah.
And, and that helped, mold them into what they were here. Um, and I always say, and I think it was you, but if not, I know Stevie J and Hagen over on my Thursday night show. When we started doing it, we were doing NWA Worldwide Wrestling, and because Bob Caudle, especially if you haven't really watched old wrestling like this, Bob Caudle is a very as you basically he's not a character. He is Bob
Yeah.
Caudle. He is Robert Caudle. He comes in, does his job, and goes home. And he doesn't always pop off the screen. and so he doesn't always get a lot of the the praise that a lot of other announcers do. And like when you came onto this show, and like I remember at first you were kind of like, it's Bob Caudle. I was like, I know him from Mid Atlantic, but it's like you gotta watch him because like this is a promotion that was really tailor made for Bob Caudle, and and he's thrived here. And unfortunately, we're at the end. We're nearing the end of Bob Caudle and Smoky Mountain, but I would dare say this is some of his best work here in Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like he was 95 years old, which is,
That's a good run.
Yeah. This is not a man who passed away, when he was, 53. And, it's like, man, he's a young guy. He was married to the same woman for 76 years, and his wife
Jesus.
just passed away earlier this year.
Oh.
Yeah. And now we're not going to sit here and talk about politics because like I think most people know his political stance outside the ring. But you know, a definite legend. I mean, he was born like at the beginning of the Great Depression. I guess about a year into the Great Depression. It's like
And he died right before the next Great Depression. Great Depression 2, historical illiteracy boogaloo.
Let's hope that doesn't happen. But yeah,
I'm sorry. This is such a terrible fucking time to be historically illiterate. Look, here's what I'm afraid of. Okay, the AI, like that's gonna do what the .com bubble did to us in the 2000s, and then I lost my train of thought. There's something else. I fucking wrote about this the other day. I'm stupid. Never mind. Just never mind.
Well, to Bob Caudle, we tip our hats to you. Um, and so long for now, Bob. So long for now.
R.I.P. Bob.
So if you think about what you're trying to say about AI, just chime in
cryptocurrency. That's what I was trying to fucking remember. Okay, cryptocurrency is going to do to us what margin buying did in the 1920s. And then AI is going to do to us what the .com bubble did in the 2000s. And they are going to do them at the same time.
Oh, yippee. Yippee-ki-yay, melon farmer. So what you're saying is if you invest in AI, get out while the getting out is good?
I don't know. I feel like if you were going to get in, you should have got in earlier. And I don't know. These things are so fucking predictable, Arya. If you just pay attention, it is all so fucking predictable. And you know why? You know why they say history repeats itself? Because people don't fucking listen.
It's been a while since we've got a good rant from you on the show.
Haven't had enough enthusiasm, but
to be fair, you're usually pissed at me at some point, so I'm used to you taking it out on me as opposed to at me.
fair enough.
So we'll go in here, Smoky Mountain episode 129, July 16th, from Northwest Ash High School in Warrensville, North Carolina, in front of 500 people, if you believe the internet. And so, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's baby had a high school named after her 20 years before she was born. Now's the time that Trey is going to throw a shoe at my head.
I thought North was male.
I thought that was their daughter.
Maybe they had multiple kids, didn't they? I don't know.
I believe so. According to E! News, because I got to cite your sources, Kim Kardashian's daughter Northwest in Skims ad video, and she's apparently 12 years old.
Have you seen this shit that like she tried to take the bar exam because a bunch of psychics told her she could pass it and she failed?
I didn't see why she took it. I just saw that she took it and failed it because, like, didn't she try using AI or something?
Probably.
Yeah.
Wasn't her father a lawyer? Isn't that like what he was famous for, being O.J. Simpson's lawyer?
Yeah, Robert Kardashian.
Yeah.
Um, now, now that I'm responsible for taking this off in a different direction, let's go back to the show. Let's go to the intro with Bob Caudle and Les Thatcher.
Professional wrestling the way it used to be and the way you like it. Hi, wrestling fans. I'm Bob Caudle along with Les Thatcher. A great hour this week. What about our Beat the Champ match, Les?
All right, let's get that right out of the way. Tracy, Smothers is the champ at this point. If he wins number 4 today, he goes home with 5,000 big ones. And let's see who we got for him. And it is Brian Lee. That's a main event any place, Bob.
Well, you're right, and a lot of things have been happening this week in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, fans. As a matter of fact, the Thrillseekers were attacked in a parking lot, and as a result of that, the Heavenly Bodies will be back for 1 week and 1 week only in Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
That's right. The big main events have been signed for the Night of Legends and Fire on the Mountain, and on this program today, Bullet Bob Armstrong will be letting us all know who the mystery partner for the 6-mans are.
And that's something we've all been looking forward to, fans, who the mystery partner is going to be. Right now, here's our Smoky Mountain champion, our heavyweight champion, the Dirty White Boy. White Boy.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Hey, you must like hot weather, I tell you.
Oh, I'm telling you, hot weather's been real good for the White Boy. It's a week of summer blast. Well, as you can see, turned out real good for the White Boy. Not only did I prove to myself, but all the fans, and especially the Dirty White Girl, that I was the better man. And Jake the Snake, anytime that you want another shot at this right here, big boy, all you got to do is slither back into the ring. But you know, on August the 5th, in the Knoxville Coliseum, I'll be facing Bam Bam Terry Gordy of the Freebirds. Right. Everybody knows him. And then the very next night, on the 6th in Johnson City, I'll be taking on Dirty Dick Slater. So, boys, all I can say is I've worked long and hard and fought a lot of tough battles to get this back around my way. So all I can say to you boys, better lace them up and get ready for action.
That's going to be 2 great ones, White Boy.
I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to both of them.
All right, fans, we're ready for action. Right now, let's go to the ring.
Okay, if you didn't know the behind-the-scenes stories, you would think you tuned into this show and, like, you missed a month of television. Because, like, all of a sudden, the Heavenly Bodies are back, if only for a week. And the Dirty White Boy, who last week on this show said he had a match in mind that he had to get approved by the Smoky Mountain Board of Directors. He had a match in mind to take on Jake Roberts. And this week it's like, I've got the belt now. I don't need a match with Jake Roberts again.
He must have gotten it approved.
I guess. It was the special invisible match.
Yeah. The Bluefield West Virginia special.
Yes. I did note that they didn't even attempt to say where the match was or when the match was, because like they know that they would it'd be a lie to their most hardcore fans, because someone out there would be like, wait, I was at that show. He didn't fucking win the belt then.
You see, the way they do that is that they invent the show that didn't happen. And it's funny, like, they never say, but then, like, it always ends up in the records somehow. Like, fucking Shane Douglas winning the ECW title from Tito Santana in Roanoke, Virginia.
Because if you tell a lie often enough and frequent enough, people will believe you, even if you're totally full of shit.
That's why I keep telling you to stop pretending the TNA exists.
Because if I stop saying it, then it might not exist anymore?
Yes.
Well, if it could please stop existing by Thursday, because I agreed to watch Impact for the Observer site, so if it could stop existing by then, we'll, be good.
That's your cosmic receipt for me having to do the TNA show this week.
Yep. And I'm shaking my fist at Cindy. How dare she have surgery? So White Boy's going to be taking on Terry Gordy at Night of the Legends and Dick Slater on Fire on the Mountain. And I wonder if we're going to be getting a Terry Gordy promo at any point, as he was one of the people who were here in the early days of Smoky Mountain, right before he went to WCW, and he cut a promo talking about how he came all the way from Freebird Mountain. and then he was gone. He went back up Freebird Mountain and came down the other side with Dr. Death, I guess.
I can't imagine that that it would be a good idea to have him cut a promo, or it may be, I don't know. Like it might be entertaining, but for all the wrong reasons.
Well,
I just always think
after his health crisis. So
yeah, I just always think of that the clip of the RF shoot interview that they showed in the Dark Side of the Ring episode, where he's so clearly just on another fucking planet. It's so sad.
Yep. And he's going to be a regular part of the show next year. And remember, Cornette talked about that on the Dark Side of the Ring, that it's like he didn't want to embarrass Terry by saying how much he got him to agree to come in to wrestle for, but he's a regular part of Smoky Mountain next year. Well, we go to the ring for our first match. It is Chris Hamrick and the debuting Steve Skyfire versus two outstanding brothers, Lance Cassidy and Dixie Dynamite. Now, Steve Skyfire, because the name probably doesn't ring too many bells, he would become better known as Easy Money in ECW, and then he was at the very end of WCW as Jason Jett.
I did not even make that connection. I kind of looked at his gear and I didn't really look past his gear.
I went to Cage Match because I didn't recognize it either. Apparently there was, I kind of wish he would have done this, but Lance Storm told a story about how Easy Money, when he was Jason Jett, he spent money on this like stupid looking ring gear with like wings and all this shit on it. And Rick Steiner was ribbing him, saying that he should wear that out to the ring and he looks great in it. And he was actually at the curtain ready to go out, and Lance or somebody basically told him, take that off, it looks stupid. And
well, I just realized Easy Money and Chris Hamrick on the same team. Between that and Julio De Niro on TNA this week, we got the full complement of Hot Commodity.
Indeed. It's funny because I could not remember the name of their group. I'm like, oh, it's Confederate Currency. I'm like, no, that's the Chris Hamrick's nickname. I couldn't remember the damn stable name.
Yeah.
So during this match, Les told us that he was anxious to find out who Bullet Bob's partner will be at Night of the Legends. And this is before I knew what the rest of the show was. I'm like, look at the format and you'll find out exactly when Bullet Bob will be on the show. And it got worse because not only if he would have looked at the format, he would have seen when Bullet Bob would say it, he's the person interviewing Bullet Bob about it.
And also, it's the next segment.
Yes. Oh, Lord. Scott pinned Steve with an elevated missile dropkick.
Scott did the elevating and Steve did the missile drop kicking.
Yes, on Steve, and then Scott pinned Steve.
Yep. So Steve drop kicked Steve and then Scott pinned Steve.
Yes. This is when I texted you saying there are too many Steves on this week's Smoky Mountain show.
I forgot about that.
Even though there's two Steves, that's one too many.
Yeah.
Hey, this isn't WWE 2001. Steve Skyfire would have had to change his name, maybe to Shane or Gregory Skyfire.
Okay, it wasn't there later, like in the 90s or 2000s, an independent wrestler named Seth Skyfire?
There was.
Any relation?
I don't know. I think it might be a coinkydink. So let's now go to not that Armstrong, but the other Armstrongs cutting a promo. Let's go to that now.
As with us right now, here they are, the Armstrongs, Scott and Steve. And fellas, hey, another good win for you, but I know you're disappointed that you're not going to be six-man partners with your dad.
Well, that's exactly right. You know, that Night of Legends is one of the biggest nights in the history of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And, you know, it was a little disappointing to us to not be a part of it, but we have not let our goals get out of reach, and they are the Smoky Mountain Tag Team titles. That's what we're after. And, you know, as of August the 5th, our father will no longer be the commissioner of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. You know, that may have hindered us in the long run. Who really knows? Yep. But the bottom line is after August the 5th, whether he's the commissioner, he won't be the commissioner, I can promise you, and maybe we'll be in for those title shots. Ain't that right, Steve?
That's right. That's right, as of August 5th. Just like my brother just said, you know, maybe Bullet Bob being the commissioner around here, well, maybe that's held us back just a little bit because he didn't want to show favoritism. But after the 5th, he'll no longer be commissioner. And brother, it's Katie bar the door because Armstrong brothers, we got some titles coming our way. We're going to make sure we put them around our waist real soon. How about it, Scotty?
Right,
All right, fans, looking for those tag team titles there, the Armstrongs, and we'll be back right after this.
Okay, so we mentioned last week that Cornette had a plan. He was going to turn Scott and Steve heel on their dad. They're getting curtailed because I think it's Scott that ends up getting booked by All Japan. And watching this, I'm wondering if like he was still going on thinking that he was going to have them turn heel. I mean, I guess it's possible.
It was Steve that got booked by All Japan.
Okay, either one. Now, I guess it's also possible that this TV taping happened before they knew, but it's certainly reading between the lines, you know, they're saying, oh man, you know, we're not getting title shots with our dad as the commissioner. It's like you would think if anyone's going to give him a title shot, it would be their dad. But
well, that was the whole point. That their dad is a man of such outstanding integrity that he didn't want to be accused of favoritism. Although I note, did they not have a title match on the Summer Blast tour? Like, wasn't that announced on TV?
They did.
So the reason,
as you can see by the fact that they're not wearing belts,
yes.
You know, see how that turned out.
So the reason that they are not the tag team champions is that they did not win them.
Yeah. You would think that you know, I know their dad has such high moral fiber, but it's like, man, you know, sign your boys to like 50 contracts for title shots. But you know, I could definitely see like the thought, like, because you know, like I said, they like having two face teams and two heel teams, and Primetime Brian and Candido are about to break up, so Scott and Steve would move into that top heel team spot, and probably feud with the Rock and Rolls and probably get a run with the belts.
We're about to lose Candido and Lee and the Thrillseekers.
Well, Candido is here. Actually, Candido and Lee are here for a bit. I don't think they keep teaming because Lee, I think, is here through Thanksgiving, and Candido's here till February.
They stopped teaming after the Night of Legends and Fire on the Mountain weekend.
Okay. All right. So we have a lengthy promo we're about to go to, but we're breaking it up a couple times here. Let's go to a promo with Les Thatcher along with Bullet Bob and Tracy Smothers, and that's going to lead into a Jim Cornette promo, and then we'll be back after that before we go back to Bullet Bob and Tracy Smothers' rebuttal. Let's go to that now.
With me, Bullet Bob Armstrong and a wild-eyed Southern boy, Tracy Smothers. And of course, Bob, you and Tracy, and a mystery partner will be squaring off with the Funks and Bruiser Bedlam with Jim Cornette in their corner. And you have some stipulations for this match, right?
That's exactly right. I have got stipulations, but as usual, so did Jimmy Cornette.
That's
you
right.
don't ask him for something. He's not dumb. He's just plain stupid, but he's got to have his way about things. And I did want a coward waves the flag match, but he said, I won't do that unless you do this.
Well, you know, we've got a videotape of Jim Cornette, and as you say, you want something, you've got to give something in return. Right now, let's look at that VCR and see what Mr. Cornette has to say.
You know, I've finally, after long last, gotten exactly what I wanted. Bullet Bob Armstrong has resigned as the commissioner of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Effective August the 5th, he'll no longer be the commissioner because he wants to get... Oh, hold on a second. Union headquarters. Well, if he's not getting the job done, fire him. His wife's pregnant. Well, fire her, too. They're obviously not doing enough overtime. All right? Yeah. Anyway, as I was about to say, Bullet Bob Armstrong wants to get back in the ring. He wants to get a hold of the union so bad, the Federation of International Thugs and Eliminators, that he's willing to sacrifice his commissionership to get back in the ring. And I have this communication, as a matter of fact, from him here on my desk that says that he wants a special match because he wants to take Tracy Smothers as his partner, because we've done so many terrible things to Tracy. And he wants to have a 6-man tag with Dory and Terry Funk and Bruiser Bedlam. And I said, well, wait a minute. 2 of them, 3 of us, that doesn't add up. But then they said he wants a mystery partner to be involved. So then I got started thinking something's up Bob Armstrong's sleeve. And then I got this piece of paper here, this contract. What he wants is he wants a Coward Waves the Flag match. The match to end all matches with Dory and Terry Funk and Bruiser Bedlam against Bob Armstrong, Tracy Smothers, and whoever this mysterious partner of his is. Well, Bob Armstrong, I don't know who you think you are, but I'm not born yesterday, brother. You were born at last night, and you're still in the dark. As a matter of fact, let me explain something to you. Jim Cornette has conditions on everything. Jim Cornette gets what he wants. So I put a few clauses in the contract, and the only way that I will sign it is if there's 2 6-man tag team matches. Because if you get the kind of match that you want, then we get the kind of match that we want too. That's the only way I'll agree to it without knowing who your partner is. So basically this, since your retirement is effective August the 5th, then that's the way that the thing's going to turn out. August the 5th, Knoxville Civic Coliseum, the Night of Legends. Can't think of a better place because you're an old fossil, Bob Armstrong. It's going to be a Coward Waves the Flag match. Bob Armstrong, Tracy Smothers, and whoever their partner is against Dory and Terry Funk and Bruiser Bedlam. You know how the match is over, Bob Armstrong? Yeah, of course you do, because you asked for it. But I'm going to remind you one more time. The match is over. Not in anything that happens in the ring. Not if somebody's leg gets broken and they give up. Not if somebody gets pinned. Not if they submit. Not if anything happens in the ring. No, the guy standing outside has to wave a white flag. That's the only way that the match can be over. I don't know who you got waving your flag, Bob Armstrong, but I don't care about my men's health. So I'm certainly not going to wave that flag because I don't want to lose. But then our match, the one that we want, the following night, August 6th, Fire on the Mountain, Johnson City, Tennessee. It's going to be a Texas death match. That's right, Armstrong. The Funk family invented them. It's simple. There's no rules. You get in there and you fight with everything you got. If somebody gets pinned, they got 30 seconds, and then they can pop right back up and you wrestle again. It could go 4 falls or 40. The only way to win the match is to beat your opponents down so bad that they can't continue and they wave it off. So you see, a Texas death match is right up our alley. So we get what we want, and you get what you want. And I still want to know who you're turning the commissionership over to, and I also want to know who this mystery partner is, because none of that is specified in this contract. So I'm still going to keep my eye on you, Armstrong, but that's it. They're calling it Double Trouble. Twin 6-mans, August 5th and 6th. One for us, one for you. Let me get that idiot back on the phone.
Okay. Who the fuck is calling it Double Trouble? He just booked the second match.
Well, if you say that if you just say it enough, it becomes the truth, Arya. We just talked about
that. When he said that, I'm like, that was the first thought in my mind. I'm like, he just booked it. Who is they? So Cornette is at the HQ of Fight. And despite being the head of a union, it felt very un-union-like that Cornette is not fighting for his employees. He's like, oh, just fire that guy. Fire his wife, too. They're not doing enough overtime. She's pregnant. I think the union might need to overthrow the president.
I don't think that this was a good union. I think this union should be dissolved.
Well, thankfully, I don't believe the union lasts too long. But
Tracy Smothers is trying to. That's what he does. He's got his destroy the union flag.
Yep. You know, invisible disabilities are real things, but Les didn't look very anxious here.
How does one look anxious?
I don't know, but he looked a little too perky, a little too happy. I mean, I guess like, hey, you know, I hit being depressed for a while, but you know, I don't know. I feel that Les may have been lying to us, I think.
Arya, how would you compare how I sound right now versus how I sound when I first spoke to you when we picked up the call tonight before we started recording?
You sound like you have your professional voice on.
All right, what did I sound like when we first started talking?
You sounded very much like Trae does 166 hours a week. Which,
right? Do you think I'm not? Do you think I don't feel the same way just because I'm in fucking work mode right now and this is my grown-up voice?
Not necessarily, but I mean, except for right now, we've never really talked about anything like that about you. You haven't come on here and said anything about that really. Like Les is the one who just told us 10 minutes ago that he's feeling anxious, and I don't know. I think he could have guilted Bob into doing the promo instead if it was too bad.
I hate you.
Anyway, now that we've taken this conversation down a completely different road, thanks to me, let's pull it back onto the road and go back to the ring where Les is with Bullet Bob and Tracy, who are going to tell us who is going to be their corner man for the Coward Waves the Flag match at Night of the Legends.
All right, we've heard from Jim Cornette, and here's the way it stands. On Friday the 5th in Knoxville, you get your Coward Waves the Flag match. But in return, because the specialty of the Funks is a Texas death match, Fire on the Mountain in Johnson City on Saturday the 6th, they get a Texas death match. So it's your shot on Friday, their advantage, if you will, on Saturday. Double trouble, Bob. But here's what I want to know. Of course, Cornette is going to be the coward in the corner with the flag on Friday night.
You got it. You got it.
Who's going to be waving the flag for the team of Armstrong, Smothers, and the mystery partner?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because when we thought about who we needed in our corner for a flag man, Tracy and I thought about the same man at the same time. Right, Tracy?
You're exactly right, Bob. And he's the toughest, the orneriest, the meanest man that the good Lord ever put on this earth. If one of our arms was cut off, this guy wouldn't wave the flag. And, Bob, we both had the same guy in mind, right?
Exactly right. He's a man who's put knots on my head, and I got scars on my face to prove it. He's the meanest man to ever come out of the Smoky Mountains. And why don't we bring him out right now and let everybody have a look at him? And I'm talking about none other than Mr. Ron Wright himself. He knows something about pain.
Well, I agree.
He's a man that believes
probably no meaner man in the Smoky Mountains.
Right. He believes in no pain, no gain, exactly. And by golly, he won't wave that flag like he said. If somebody gets a finger bit off, this man knows about pain. He's dished it out. He's taken it. He knows all about it. And he's the man we want in our corner, because we don't want the match stopped. And by golly, I think Ron's the man to do it. Right, Ron? How you doing, Ron?
How you doing? It's nice seeing all these people. It's been a while. Now, let me tell you something, Mr. Thatcher, Mr. Armstrong, Smothers. I'll guarantee you you've picked one of the meanest men in the world, got the worst temper and the honorest, and I'll tell you one thing. You better not get in there and think that I'm going to wave this flag for any reason. It don't matter if they take your head off or what, because this flag won't wave. I'm going to take this flag. The reason I've got it tonight, I'm going to take it with me. I'm going to take it and dip it in concrete, and it'll be wrapped up solid in concrete like a cast, to where it's impossible to wave it. And the only thing I might have to do with it, if Jim Cornette gets his nose up there and gets in the way, I might use that concrete flag around his head. Amen. You boys take care of business, and I'll be in the corner with the flag, but it won't be waved, brother.
You know, I know you guys are planning on making this one of the worst night in Mr. Cornette's history. But you know, we've got some videotape of what may have been the very worst night in Jim Cornette's career.
You're right.
1986. You were there.
1986, Starrcade, at the Omni. I was there. You were there. We saw what happened, but nobody else did. Let's let them take a look, Ron.
Let's go to the VTR of the Starrcade 86.
Okay, well, we're gonna hold off.
I'm sorry. Did they say that they saw what happened at Starrcade 86, but nobody else did?
I mean, to be fair, it wasn't a national television broadcast, but yes.
People, like, it was closed circuit, and it's been on videotape, and that clip has probably been on fucking national TV before.
Oh, it undoubtedly has. I guarantee it was in the commercial for the videotape.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get to it, but I doubt they actually watched it. Because Trae, riddle me this: who knocked Jim Cornette off the scaffold, or at least who was up there with him when he did it?
Well, Hawk chased him up there, and then what happened? What are you getting at?
Well, Animal's the person up there. So Animal technically like knocked him off is, a stretch of the phrase, but Animal knocked him off of there.
Animal is not available.
Yes. He's still collecting that nice chunk of change from Lloyd's of London right now.
I'm so dumb because I like when they said something about it. Bob said a week or two ago something effective. It was like the person responsible for the worst night of Cornette's life, and I knew who the partner was. I'm thinking like, what? Like, well, is it because the fucking Road Warriors beat the Midnight Express for the World Tag Team title, which they did, if I remember correctly. I completely fucking forgot about the plunge and the plummet.
Poor Jim Cornette. Big Bubba got lost in the lights. I love Ron Wright. We love Ron Wright. It's, we can never have too much Ron Wright on TV. It's been too long. I think like he was last here for what, Sunday Bloody Sunday?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, he walked to the ring. He got into the ring. He's wearing his white tuxedo. It's like, who doesn't love Mr. Ron Wright?
Yeah.
I need to make a video file of just Mr. Ron Wright in Smoky Mountain. And even if the YouTube refuses to take it, I gotta just have it just for my own personal collection.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Thatcher. We've been watching too much Ernie Ladd. When he said Mr. for a second, I was waiting for him to say Mr. Television Announcer. Oh, Lord. I really want him to make that flag into a concrete cast to beat Jim Cornette up with.
Sounds
fantastic. I did it to laugh. Like, they're like, this is the ultimate match. This is the match of matches. We've had a Coward Waves the Flag match before on the show, and it was a screw job finish, if you remember.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. So we get the Starrcade 86 clips. I will bet you my last dollar that WCW were as aware of this as they were when they played clips of Garvin winning the NWA title a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. This came from Jim Cornette's videotape library. It did not come from our friends in Atlanta.
No.
So from here we go back to Bullet Bob, Tracy, and Mr. Ron Wright in the ring to officially announce their partner at Night of the Legends. And Jim Cornette is not pleased by this.
There you have it, and that was a bad night. And you say it's going to be worse on August the 5th.
That's exactly right. It's going to be worse. And if I have to take this Smoky Mountain toothpick and take care of him, we will. I got the meanest man as our flag man, Tracy Smothers. And now it's about time I told everybody.
I said earlier to Bob Caudle, I said, this is, and it's eating at me. I want to know who is going to be the third man on the team of Armstrong and Smothers.
Well, that film should have given you a hint. I'll tell everybody right now, the third man on our team is going to be none other than Road Warrior Hawk.
All right.
And you know what Hawks do to rats, don't you, Les?
Yes. We've got a camera in the dressing room with Jim Cornette. I would love to have a monitor where I could see the... Maybe he's the second meanest man to the one standing right here would be Road Warrior Hawk.
He might have kept that secret.
No.
Hold on now.
There ain't nothing you can do about it, brother. There ain't nothing you can do about it. Come on in here and I'll light you up with my Smoky Mountain matchstick, baby, because you ain't nothing. The union's going down. Now you picked to live with human excrement. Let's see you dig your way out. 6 man, the Hawk, brother. You know what Hawk do to rats, don't you? And the wild-eyed Southern boy, and I'm right smack dab in the middle. And this man don't know how to wave a flag, and that's why we chose it. So bring your buddy in here right now, and we'll go right now. Come on.
All right. So, to recap, August the 5th in Knoxville, Road Warrior Hawk, Bullet Bob, and Tracy Smothers against Bruiser Bedlam and the Funks. Fire on the Mountain, August the 6th, Saturday, a Texas death match. The same 6 wrestlers. You'll want to be at one or both. It's going to be double trouble, August the 5th and the 6th. Bob, good luck to you.
Thank you, baby. We'll need it. But we're going to take it home, baby. Show them where it's at.
We'll be right back.
All right. So, yep, Road Warrior Hawk, a man who was firmly on the mat when Jim Cornette went flying off the scaffold. Yeah, that should make a couple interesting 6-man tags.
You do understand that he would not have been up the scaffold had Hawk not chased him up there, right? You understand the point here. You're not being. Are you being intentionally obtuse just to piss me off?
I'm not being intentionally obtuse, but the funny thing is, like, I would give Paul Ellering more credit for that than Hawk. Like, yeah, Hawk kind of like pushed him in that direction, but Paul Ellering is the one that followed him up there to stop him from just going right back down.
I don't think that like, Paul Ellering would have popped a house in Knoxville.
Maybe not to the extent of Road Warrior Hawk, but I think it could have done something. I'm not expecting him to bring in Paul Ellering. He's too busy getting ready for the Iditarod, probably. But I think it's like a Night of the Legends. Like, I mean, I guess who many people really knew at this point that Paul Ellering used to be a wrestler. But yeah.
Can you please stop trying to turn this into Paul Ellering?
I'm not, but I'm putting, because it wasn't like, and I could be mixing up my scaffold matches, but like, didn't Hawk have like a broken foot or something? No, like one of them got legitimately injured, like in Japan before Starrcade.
I don't want to talk about this fucking scaffold match anymore.
Okay, well then let's fucking talk about the Infernos versus the Rock and Roll Express. Now here's where we. Go ahead.
All minute and 19 seconds of it.
Yes. Here's where we had verification that the hair versus hair match would be at Fire on the Mountain in Johnson City. Now, have you agreed to what I said to not look up what happens? Or have you continued to not look that up?
I completely forgot about that. And I was like looking today. Well, I had to look to see when the TV taping was. And then that led me to like the results were incomplete. So I probably saw whatever it was you didn't want me to see, but I doubt.
Well, you know that Ricky Morton and Tammy Fitch are not going to be bald.
Yes.
Okay. So
I don't know what happens to that.
Okay. So I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything by talking about this next part. Do you think that Ricky Morton originally agreed to let them cut his hair and then he backed out of it?
That's entirely possible.
But it was too late because they already announced the stip in the match. That's like the other thing I could think of, because like this is pretty major screw job that Cornette does to his audience. And we've talked about them backing out on stipulations before. But this one I think is a big one, because like I don't know, like if you didn't have this match on Fire on the Mountain, I don't know that it may not have done a really good house just with the Texas Death Match. But I do think Ricky Morton's hair versus Tammy Fitch's hair helped draw whatever house they did in Johnson City.
Maybe Ricky agreed to do it, and then the girlfriend that gets him fired in a couple of months said no.
Which is actually before not Night of the Legends, but the Super Bowl of Wrestling next year.
Okay, I thought it was later this year for some reason.
No, we have another full year. And I know you weren't here at the time, but like when Ricky Morton came in at Fire in the Mountain '92, it was like he's literally here for exactly 3 years. He comes in for Fire in the Mountain the first year and is gone by Fire in the Mountain the third year, or the fourth year.
Synchronicity.
Yep. By the way, Morton pinned one of the Infernos with a double drop kick.
He did indeed pin an Inferno.
Yeah. I know they raise their hand when Brian Matthews introduces them, but I did not keep track of which one was Fire and which one was Brimstone.
Me neither, and I'm the one that keeps track of who the fucking referees are on NWA TNA.
Now, I made sure to note this. This was when I pressed pause so I could go review TNA with you. I wrote, "We'll see how I feel in an hour." Um,
How did you
but
feel?
honestly, like I said last night, it was a good TNA show. Um, I was more interested in seeing how you would think about the show because, like, to me, it was a good show. But I'm used to having a pretty low bar for these TNA shows.
I think you have a lower bar for these shows too.
So we could enjoy Smoky Mountain even more? Or you mean lower bar for something else?
All of the above.
Okay, great. So let's go to a Rock and Roll Express promo. After the match, they stopped by and talked to Bob Caudle.
As you saw it, the match has been signed. August 6th, Johnson City. Air looks pretty good now, Rick. Somebody's going to be bald.
That's right, Bob. August 6th, Fire on the Mountain in Johnson City, Tennessee. And the reason Robert and I picked Johnson City, Tennessee is because that's where we reunited at. That's where the Rock and Roll Express started all over again. And I'm going to tell you, on August the 6th, it's either going to be our best match or it's going to be our worst match. You got to understand one thing, Tammy Fitch, you did all this thing about us. Well, all of it's over. It's all coming down. But the night before that, in Johnson City, Tennessee, the Night of Legends, Robert and I are facing Chris Candido and Brian Lee in a title match. But one thing about it is Tammy Fitch is going to be handcuffed to the legend himself, Ricky Gibson.
Hey, you know, Bob, all the fans been asking me, hey, where's your brother? Let me tell you, Tammy Fitch, on the Legends, he's going to be handcuffed to you right there, brother.
And that's right. And we know for one thing, if we can beat you in Knoxville, Tennessee for those titles matches, we're already a winner when we come to Fire on the Mountain in Johnson City, Tennessee. All right.
Whoa. All right, fans. What a weekend it's going to be. We'll be back. We'll have more right after this.
Okay, so they don't say it, but Fire on the Mountain is not a title match, regardless of what happens at Night of the Legends. Actually, I
believe that is incorrect.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So Fire on the Mountain is also for the titles?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought it wasn't. So anyway, so I was wrong. They were going to have 2 title matches over Fan Week weekend. And this is where, like, they reminded us, this is the 2-year anniversary. And I'll tell you what, even though Robert Gibson had been in the territory since the beginning, when they came out of Fire on the Mountain that first time, those fans went fucking nuts for the first Rock and Roll Express match in however many years it had been at that point, since before Robert's knee injury in WCW in October 1990.
So like 2 years?
Yeah. And they announced that at Night of the Legends, Tammy will be handcuffed to Ricky Gibson. Which, I'll be honest, like, I don't think I've ever seen Ricky Gibson.
Really?
Yeah.
He's I haven't seen a ton of Ricky Gibson. He was we actually get a primer on Ricky Gibson's career later in the show that he was had his career cut short in a car accident. But I don't know what I saw in Memphis. He was like they were the Gibson brothers were very much in the Rock and Roll Express mold. Like they were that kind of babyface make the women scream tag team.
Yep. Apparently his last match was in 1987 against Ric Flair.
Oh.
Yeah. And this is kind of weird just because of the time period, but apparently WWE.com acknowledged Ricky Gibson's death in 2006.
That was that period. Was that in the period where they had that weird little like wrestling world news section on the website?
I think that was a little bit after, but I could be wrong. Could be around that time. That was when they were trying to put the Observer site out of business somehow. Which, yeah. But it's not like, and that was like always the funniest part. It was like they're trying to put the news sites out of business by doing their own news sites, but like they weren't like investigating anything themselves. They were just cribbing news from other websites.
Do you remember how nothing how nothing the Observer site was before the merger?
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Mhm.
do. Like, if you want to see nothing, like go to the archive.org thingy and look up like WrestlingObserver.com and find like the old pay-per-view play-by-play results. How little Dave would write about the live pay-per-view things. Like you could not get away on the Observer site today. Believe me, you could not get away writing one sentence about like the second biggest match on a pay-per-view.
Well, you don't want to give away your money. That's from the Observer.
That's true, I guess. Um, so from here we got a replay of the Thrillseekers promo from last week where they shoved Jim Cornette's face in the cake. And we get another long promo here. And I meant to write down a time period to cut it up. So I'm gonna cut it up at one point. I just don't know how far into it is. But let's go to what happened after the Thrillseekers yeah, easy for me to see. Wow. Okay. Fuck this shit. Let's just go to Bob Caudle, who's going to introduce the next segment, and we're going to go from there, ladies and gentlemen, and go straight into a Thrillseekers to the angle, and then come back regarding. Oh my God! Shut up, Arya, and just press play.
And unfortunately, what happened next after that was not a laughing matter. No, indeed. The Thrillseekers arrived at the arena for a match a few days ago, and they were attacked by Jim Cornette and two masked men. A fan now with a video camera was getting tape of the wrestlers as they were arriving at the arena, and they caught the attack on tape. So let's take a look and see what she taped.
Look, kids, there's the referee. Go ahead, Greg. Look at his autograph. Wow. Did you tell him thanks? Say, look, let's pose with him. He's going to pose with you. Get over there. Stand beside him, Ashley. There you go. Smile now. Smile. There you go. Look, kids, it's the Thrillseekers. Go get their autographs. Hurry, kids, come here. Hurry. Ashley, Derek, come here. Hurry. Come here. Oh, my God. Go get somebody to help. Get somebody to help.
Okay. So this was incredibly well done, no pun intended. This was like the most realistic angle you're probably ever going to see in pro wrestling in 1994 because like it was so not contrived. It was a woman who was back behind the building before a show. Their kids are meeting the wrestlers, so she's got a video camera videotaping everything. And by the way, in case you didn't realize this, those were actually Mark Curtis's kids and his wife filming all this.
Yeah.
And like they ran up and hugged Mark Curtis and all that stuff. It was so nice that Mark Curtis's kids got to meet Mark Curtis. And it's like the Thrillseekers, you can see the Thrillseekers pulling in the background. Like they're not stopping and looking at the camera or whatever. They're just like going about their business. And suddenly a car pulls up and two masked men in full black bodysuits jump out with Jim Cornette and they begin beating up the poor Thrillseekers, slamming them into a car, slamming, the car doors and the trunk lids on the poor Chris and Lance. I thought this was a great little angle, and I swear I didn't mean like to tip it off there at the beginning, but this was actually well done under the masks because they couldn't get the heavenly bodies just for an angle like this.
Yeah, this was a good piece of. I've seen this before. It was very good.
So now I don't say the audio was bad, but there's a point that Chris and Lance are going to bring up that they heard Jim say Tom, and that was the tip off that it was the heavenly bodies. And I was listening, and I never heard Jim say Tom.
Well, Chris Jericho was closer to it than you were.
That is true. I am, several thousand miles and 2 or 3 decades away from this.
Yeah.
But speaking of Chris Jericho and Lance Storm, let's go to serious Chris Jericho and Lance Storm at a table somewhere to talk about what happened here.
Jim Cornette can say what he wants, but we all know it. Chris and I know it, and the Smoky Mountain Wrestling fans know it. It was the Heavenly Bodies that beat us up in that parking lot, and thanks to that fans videotape, we've got proof. Jim Cornette even called the one Tom. We know it was the Heavenly Bodies, and so did all the fans. Chris took 18 stitches in the back of his head, and my face has looked better. But, the Heavenly Bodies are really great, but we're not going to roll over and play dead for anybody.
That's right, Heavenly Bodies, you were banned from Smoky Mountain Wrestling when you lost the Bluegrass Brawl at Rock and Roll Express. And now you want to come back into Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Well, we could take this to court. We could file a grievance. But first of all, Jim Cornette would probably tie it up for weeks, months, years. Second of all, that's not how we want to decide this thing. The only thing we could think to do legally to get you guys back in the ring is talk to Smoky Mountain Wrestling, who in turn talked to the World Wrestling Federation, who in turn told you that you had to come back to Smoky Mountain Wrestling for a week. And if a week is all we got, that's fine. Because there's two things in this world that don't forget: elephants and Thrillseekers. And we're not going to forget what you guys did to us, Heavenly Bodies. And I'll tell you something else. You made a mistake. Because you came and jumped us from behind. You beat us up. We're the first to admit you guys did a hell of a job. But let me tell you something. You didn't put us in the morgue. You didn't put us in the hospital. And therefore, you made a mistake. Because we're still alive and kicking. And believe me when I tell you that we might be flying all around. We might have new moves that you've never seen before. But we can fight. And we're here to say that coming up, we're going to take you guys and we're going to kick you like you've never been kicked before. Because we're not going to let you forget about this, because we're not going to forget about it, and none of the fans are going to forget about this either. So Jim Cornette and the Heavenly Bodies, you watch out, because we will have our revenge, and it's going to be really sweet.
So I'm going to stop there. We'll go, because they go to a Jim Cornette and Heavenly Bodies promo. We'll play that in a minute. I thought it went a scotch too long, but probably 30 seconds. If Jericho had been stopped 30 seconds earlier, this was a really, really good promo. It went a little too long, so I'll just downgrade it to good. But this, you could see the Chris Jericho that became one of the top promos in the wrestling business in this promo.
Yeah, you see hints of it.
Yeah. I liked it. They were serious. Jericho wasn't doing the I'm going to talk really loud to get a reaction thing that a lot of new guys do. But I like it. I know we had the cake angle last week, and like we said, we knew where it was going, but it still feels so out of nowhere.
Well, I don't know. They shot an angle for a match for the big show. It's not any more out of nowhere than fucking a million other things.
I know, but it's I don't know, and
it's less out of nowhere than the Dirty White Boy defending the heavyweight title against Terry Gordy and Dick Slater.
True, but at least the Terry Gordy thing, at least it makes sense within the gimmick of the show. We're bringing in all these legends, that there's going to be a lot of legends wrestling. And I guess you could argue, well, the Heavenly Bodies are legends of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, but that's not quite where they were going there.
What would you have preferred, Arya? What should they have done to promote this match to your liking?
I don't know, but it's it just felt so completely out of nowhere. He's Jim Cornette. I get he's embarrassed that, he got his face shoved in a cake, but he's so embarrassed by this that he brought in his band tag team, had them disguise themselves in masks and bodysuits to have them, assault another tag team outside of the arena. Like, I don't know. I feel like
honestly,
he could have Bruiser Bedlam and Killer Kyle do it. It was just
they're feuding with other people.
But that
honestly,
the point
honestly, the only part of it that doesn't make much sense is that they were disguised.
Yeah, and we know why they were disguised, but you're not supposed to know the real reason. All right, so before Trae and I begin, strangling each other, let's go to Jim Cornette with the Heavenly Bodies at the WWF television studio somewhere.
You know, it happens to every great labor organizer, every great union boss. Whenever you start getting a little power, the false accusations start happening to Jimmy Hoffa. Now I'm being accused of being responsible for things that I had nothing to do with. Sure, the Thrillseekers got attacked in a parking lot. Hey, that's not my fault. It was two guys in masks that did it, but now they're claiming that I was responsible for it, that the Heavenly Bodies were the guys under the masks. And thanks to some snoopy old lady trying to get autographs for a little snot-nosed brat kid with a video camera, they got a tape of it. You know, it's that kind of snoopiness in America today that got those fine, upstanding Los Angeles police officers in hot water for trying to arrest that convicted felon, Rodney King. But if you'll notice, on that tape, it clearly shows that I was the one trying to pull those guys off the Thrillseekers. I was the one trying to call those guys back because I knew the Storm and Jericho couldn't sustain any worse of a beating than they were already taken. But no, they can't let it lie. You know, Thrillseekers, there's an old saying, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. They went to the promoters in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, all the officials. Smoky Mountain Wrestling came to the World Wrestling Federation. Two big corporations getting in some kind of hoo-ha, some kind of collusion against the labor union, just like always happens. And now the result is that the World Wrestling Federation has said that they're not going to sign any matches featuring the Heavenly Bodies for the period of August 5th to August 13th. They're going to force the Heavenly Bodies under threat of a heavy fine to go back to Smoky Mountain Wrestling to meet the Thrillseekers anytime, any place, anywhere that they want, so the Thrillseekers can get their revenge. They don't want to do it in a court of law because they haven't got any evidence. No, they want to get the Heavenly Bodies in a wrestling ring. Well, let me tell you something, punks, and I want you to listen real good. The Heavenly Bodies are coming back to Smoky Mountain Wrestling. The ban hasn't been lifted, but for one shining, glorious week, Thrillseekers, the Heavenly Bodies, Dr. Desire, Tom Pritchard, and Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey, they're going to be back in Smoky Mountain Wrestling to teach you punks a lesson. Sure, you've had all the flashy videos. You got all the fancy Dan moves. You got those pretty faces, and all the fans are cheering for you. But now we're going to find out if you got guts, Thrillseekers. This is your acid test. This is your chance of a lifetime. Because these men dominated Smoky Mountain Wrestling on some very basic principles. Blood, guts, violence, and intimidation. And you've had some wins over some mid-level teams. You've done a few nice things. But when you get in the ring with the Heavenly Bodies, you're in there against the guys that have been there many times. You're in there against the cream of the crop. You're in there against a couple of guys that'll stop at nothing to end your career and send you on your way because they ain't rolling over and playing dead for nobody. They got a reputation to uphold. So, Thrillseekers, we're going to find out if you got it in here, brother. If you got the heart and the desire to be on top, to be main eventers, to be championship material. Because the Heavenly Bodies are going to give you the damnedest fight that you ever been in your life. And I don't think you're going to win it. Thrillseekers, you asked for them, you got them. What are you going to do with them?
All right, so for all my whining about 2 minutes ago, this was a great promo by James E. Cornette.
There. Can we have the Heavenly Bodies come to Smoky Mountain for a fucking match with Thrillseekers now? Please?
I can approve of that, but I guess I can. I guess I can allow it. So yeah, I like that Tom, who has a show in 4 months, he has to get all the hair fluffing he can possibly get in 2 minutes. And Jimmy Del Rey being a magnificent scumbag that he is off to the side while this promo is going on.
I missed our scumbag.
Yes. He's our scumbag. Clap, 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 clap. But I laughed. I was like, hey, I thought they were off Smoky Mountain Television forever, but here we are.
No.
So go ahead.
So I just said nope.
So I didn't look to see who they were feuding with. It was probably the Bushwhackers. But I looked up to see what they would have been doing had they not been in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. It looks like they've been doing some matches with the Head Shrinkers. So they're on the Head Shrinkers tour, which August 5th, the Head Shrinkers were in North Charleston, South Carolina, in front of 1,500 people. And so instead, they defeated Bam Bam Bigelow and Bastion Booger, who I don't think he was still around. I think this is just him being brought in for a few dates because I think he was long gone by this point. And August 6th.
I would love to see the Head Shrinkers versus Bam Bam Bigelow and Bastion Booger.
Yep. Well, if you live there or in Augusta, Richmond County Civic Center in Augusta, Georgia, instead of being in the city, you lived in the arena on August 6th. You could have seen that there too. Main evented, by the way, Lex Luger versus Crush in a stretcher match.
That sounds like a Lulu.
Yep. Elsewhere on the show in North Charleston, South Carolina, because Augusta doesn't have the whole results, Jeff Jarrett defeated Doink the Clown. Bull Nakano defeated Heidi Lee Morgan. Abe Knuckleball Schwartz defeated PJ Walker, who actually showed up for the show, I guess. The Bushwhackers defeated the Executioners, who I think were Barry Hardy and Dwayne Gill. Nikolai Volkov defeated Virgil. Yes, this is when Nikolai Volkov was being managed by Ted DiBiase, and he had the tights with the cent on it instead of the dollar sign because he was nickel and dime Volkov.
There's a reason the WWF was in the crapper at this time. A lot of reasons, but this was one of them.
There's a reason they drew 1,500 people to this show. And the main event, Lex Luger defeated Crush in a stretcher match.
Again, sounds like a Lulu.
When you get depth like this they did split shows still at this point. And I mean, this was obviously the B show, but I'll tell you what the A show was. They were in Pittsburgh. They drew 4,000 people. And it's honestly, this show seems for the most part, perfectly fine. They could have just done this as its own show and not done a second show. But Sparky Plug pinned Quebecer Pierre. Adam Bomb pinned Quang. Jerry Lawler defeated Duke the Dumpster Drosy by disqualification. Go figure. The Smoking Guns defeated Well Done, which, Trey's like, thank God they're out of the territory. Razor Ramon defeated Diesel by disqualification. Tatanka defeated IRS in a strat match. Yokozuna pinned Mabel in 11 minutes and 13 seconds.
Oh my God. Oh, I hope that's one of those things where they artificially inflated the time.
It's the third longest match on the show. The only two matches to beat it were the Smoking Guns versus Well Done, and the main event, where WWF champion Bret Hart, with Bruce Hart in his corner, defeated Owen Hart with Jim Neidhart in 16 minutes, 52 seconds. I'm going to go on a limb here and say that Bret Hart and Owen Hart could have both had strep throat, both had the flu, both dragging themselves to the ring so they could barely get out of bed, and that match was better than 11 minutes of Yokozuna versus Mabel.
I kind of want to see it.
And you thought 5 minutes at In Your House between the two were bad? Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. I'll tell you what. I would have been into that if I was at that show because, in my opinion, who doesn't like two big-ass people beating each other up? Although I imagine there were a lot of Samoan shoulder leans in that match.
I bet that JR would have called that one Bowling Shoe Ugly.
More than likely, yes. They did a commercial for Night of the Legends, and most of the stuff we already knew, but it's the Funks and Bruiser Bedlam versus Bullet Bob, Tracy Smothers, and Hawk, and a Coward Waves the Flag match. And they put in big, stupid letters, this match will not be seen on television. Which I think was a nice touch, because I think at this point we all kind of know that if it's a big, important match, we're going to see at least highlights of it on television. Elsewhere, the Dirty White Boy defends the title against Terry Gordy. The Thrillseekers versus the Heavenly Bodies. Primetime Brian Lee and Chris Candido versus the Rock and Roll Express. The Mongolian Stomper and Ronnie Garvin versus Cowboy Bob Orton and Dick Slater. And in a match never even hinted out on television, Doug Furnace, not Glub, but Doug, is going to take on Killer Kyle.
That sounds better than if it was Killer Kyle versus Glub.
Indeed, although I guess Glub could lose in 20 seconds.
We have not talked about this, but I really think that we should watch the Night of the Legends.
I think because I was thinking about this earlier. I'm going to see what matches are on TV, and whatever isn't, and I'm assuming obviously the main event, we should watch like with whatever the last week of Night of the Legends stuff is.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm going to bet. I'm there. Go ahead.
I looked ahead to kind of see what the shows were, and I think there is one show that shows matches from Night of the Legends, but the show before that is all clips and promos.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe we could split Night of the Legends like proper over 2 weeks there.
Do the stuff that's not on the TV show the first week where they do the whatnot, and then do the rest of it on the show that talks about or that has the matches or whatever.
I feel like there's a neater way to do that, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. My issue is like, again, it's like I want to do 200 episodes or all 200 TV shows, even if one of them is 20 minutes. But we'll get to that. We got the Night of the Legends update. I started writing down that the Bob Orton cut a promo, and he did, but like, I don't feel like playing it. Do you want to hear the Bob Orton promo?
I mean, I don't. It wasn't a bad promo. I'm a Cowboy Bob fan. It wasn't a bad promo.
Yes. But Night of the Legends is coming up. Buy tickets. You can get a cheap hotel rate for $32 for a single or $36 for a double. Come on down to the show. Let's go now to a promo with Tammy Fitch along with Chris Candido and SummerSlam main eventer The Undertaker.
With us right now, primetime Brian Lee, Chris Candido, and Miss Tammy Fitch. Well, we saw what happened, the signing last week. We had Ricky Morton out talking about it. He claims he's going to have his hair come August 6th.
Yeah,
what
you
about
know
that?
what? I think the entire world has something against me. I think the entire world is banding against Tammy Fitch. I don't know why. I can't understand why. Because all I know is on August 5th, it's the Night of the Legends. And I have to be handcuffed to Ricky Gibson. Then on August 6th, there's Fire on the Mountain. And in this match is a hair versus hair match. And if my boys lose, it's my hair. It's my hair that's going to be shaved. My boys are going to try as hard as possible to beat the Rock and Roll Express so we can shave their heads and humiliate them like they've done me over and over again. But all I know is I've been trying so hard to get out of these contracts. I'm hiring the best lawyers possible. But the only problem with that is that it's depleting my bank account, and then, like, in 3 weeks, that little shopping spree I have planned at Rodeo Drive, I won't be able to take. I won't have any more money. So what I have done is I have started a legal defense fund for all of my gracious fans to contribute some money towards my defense and to help me get out of my contract. And I know all you know what? I wouldn't even be surprised if O.J. Simpson was found guilty because I got to the best lawyers in the country first. He's got to settle for second best. But I know all you wonderful people out there will send all the money possible to help me so I won't have to lose my shopping money. So, wait, Bob, let's show the address on the screen right now.
We can't do that.
I said show the address right now so they can
Smoky
send their
Mountain
money.
Wrestling can't condone that. We can't condone you doing that.
I want to see that address on that screen right now so all my fans can send money.
No, we can't put it on the screen.
I said I want the address on. I'm fine. Forget it. I'm not tired of arguing with you. Come on, guys.
You want me to get it, Tim?
No, fans. Smoky Mountain Wrestling cannot condone any legal defense fund for Tammy Fitch.
Oh, that was fucking tremendous. Not really the part
Yes.
about OJ, but like her like, oh, put that address on the screen. And I was like, we can't do that. And
She is quite upset.
the funny thing about that is like during the original days of Smoky Mountain, Mr. Ron Wright came out and said he was looking for donations for his help with his medical bills, and they did put an address up on the screen for donations.
Well, that was a legitimate need. She's clearly she's trying to get money to do legal things so she can fucking keep her shopping spree on Rodeo Street.
Rodeo.
So
as I figured. So
By
as
the way,
noted in the documentary O.J. Simpson Made in America, his lawyers, it even when you have a shit ton of money like O.J. Simpson, it still cost him a lot of money. He was selling merchandise and autographs from prison to help pay for his legal defense. Because Johnny Cochran does not come cheap.
So speaking of Tammy Fitch and legal action, what the fuck happened to her sexual discrimination lawsuit? I feel like this could be folded into that.
I think that might be why she needs better lawyers, because nothing ever came of her sexual discrimination lawsuit.
She should hire Clarence Mason.
Plus, I do think there is a degree of contract fraud where, like, I know you can say, oh, well, she should have read what she was signing, but it was heavily implied that it was the men's hair that was going to be on the line in that match. And, I think it's a degree of fraud. If this was real life.
I think that it's your fault if you don't read the fucking contract.
Well, I mean, I think about like all the times that Jim Cornette talked about how Paul Bearer slipped something into the contract for Royal Rumble, that he signed a nice normal match, and it came back suddenly with a casket match stipulation. So it's not outside of babyface, whatever, to like slip some stipulations in behind the heel's back.
Well, I mean, the whole fucking SummerSlam 93 shit was Cornette slipping things in the contracts. Again, it is your fault if you sign a contract you don't read.
True. Now, do you think Marcia Clark, knowing what she knows afterwards, would have gone back in time and donated money to the Tammy Fitch Legal Defense Fund?
I'm sorry, who?
Marcia Clark. She was one of the lawyers for the prosecution of O.J. Simpson.
Oh, that was too obscure a reference for me.
Okay. Well, I think like if you would have asked her in November 1995 if she could have donated money to Tammy Fitch, so Tammy could have gotten Johnny Cochran and Robert Kardashian and F. Lee Bailey and Robert Shapiro and all them, I think Marcia would have put in some money.
You telling me there's an alternate universe where nobody knows who the fuck the Kardashians are? I want to move to that universe.
But then if we move to that universe, you wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Good. I hate this conversation.
To be fair, though, now Robert Kardashian was OJ's friend, so he was going to be involved anyway. So,
damn it.
Yeah. I'd like to blame Robert Kardashian or like whatever, but it's like Kim Kardashian had a giant ass. That ass was getting on television.
You know what they should have done? They should have had the Rock and Roll win the hair match, but then Johnny Cochran got the contract invalidated.
At least you didn't say if the glove don't fit, you must have quit, because that was a year and a half too early for that. But by the way, I Googled OJ lawyers because for some reason I was blanking on Johnny Cochran's name. And one of the questions on Google was, who was OJ's best lawyer?
Whenever I think of Johnny Cochran, I just think of South Park and the Chewbacca defense.
It don't make sense.
You know what really doesn't make sense?
How we ended up talking about Johnny Cochran and all that.
No, that too. No, that whole fucking thing doesn't make any sense because Chewbacca's not from Endor. He's from fucking Kashyyyk.
I never watched Star Wars, so I'll take your word for it.
I have watched Star Wars a lot, and I promise you that is correct information.
Are we gonna have like when Arya gets nitpicky about some random wrestling factoid argument about Star Wars now?
Why would we need to argue? I was just giving you factual information that you accepted because you don't know any better.
Yes. For all I know, you're lying, but I don't
I'm
know any
not.
better. I believe you, but you could be telling me complete and total bullshit about the Star Wars universe, and I would not know any better. And then, our one listener will get to this point and be like, "That's not where Chewbacca's from. Chewbacca is from Endor or whatever."
Chewbacca is not from Endor. That was what Johnny Cocker was saying, that Chewbacca was from Endor, and he's not.
Why would a Wookiee be in Endor? And I guess he wasn't.
I mean, he was on Endor in Return of the Jedi, but he wasn't from there.
Now here's the thing. I do know just enough about Star Wars to know that when I first saw that episode of Parks and Recreation, where they found out that Leslie's email was being hacked. Nope.
Oh, okay.
There was an episode where Leslie's email had been hacked by a reporter, and so they set her up, and so she came to a press conference and saying that her sources told her that midi-chlorians were in the water. I'm like, I know that word.
That's funny.
I did not know why, but I knew that was a Star Wars thing.
I thought you were going to bring up the episode where it's like the Historical Society or whatever, and Patton Oswalt does like a filibuster. It just does this off the cuff 8-minute rant about Star Wars.
Yeah, that got put up on YouTube a few years back.
I love Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt's a national treasure. That was the TED Party episode. So anyway, you notice how we never talked about a main event on this show? There's probably a good reason for that. So Primetime Brian Lee walks to the ring with Tammy Fitch and Chris Candido, all 25 feet away from the announce position. For the match, has Primetime Brian Lee challenges the Southern-eyed white boy, Tracy Smothers, for the Beat the Champ in what is, depending on who you ask, Tracy's 4th or 5th title defense. So he's getting a shot at the $5,000 this week. The bell rang with less than 4 minutes left in the show, and it took them about 30 seconds to lock up. So this was not going to be a 5-star Matt Classic, is what we're saying here. Ref got bumped. We had a double team on Tracy. The Rock and Roll made the save, gave Brian Lee the double drop kick, and the guy that cheated to win the title in the first place cheated to win for the 5th time.
Okay, am I crazy? This was the 4th one, and Les actually said it was the 4th one, but said that it was like the last one, even though he said it was the 4th. Am I crazy?
I think you are, because didn't he win the title at the end of 2 TV tapings ago?
Okay,
or maybe I'm wrong.
He won the title. He beat Tracy Smothers, and then he defended against
Killer
Tracy Kyle.
Smothers.
No, Chris Hammer. Tracy Smothers beat, or no, wait.
He beat Kendo the Samurai.
Kendo the Samurai, and then he defended against Chris Hammer. He defended against Killer Kyle. He defended against Stephen Dunn. And he defended against Brian Lee. Am I missing one? I don't think I'm missing one.
Honestly, I thought the entire last TV taping was him defending the belt 4 times. Because I thought him versus Kendo was the end of the prior TV taping. Because that's when they brought up the second Kendo the Samurai, who really did the job.
No, the Kendo match, the Hamrick match, yeah, they were all 4. But the first, the title win match doesn't count as one of the 5. You have to have 5 defenses.
No, but I thought that was at the end of the prior TV.
It wasn't. No, it was at the beginning.
Let me see here. TV taping June 7th. Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now. The Kendo,
Tracy
the
Smothers,
Hamrick, the Killer Kyle, and the Stephen Dunn match are all in Loudon, Tennessee.
Yep. Tracy Smothers beating Kendo the Samurai 352 to win the Smoky Mountain Beat the Champ TV title. Smothers actually pinned a second Kendo. So Tracy, man, I guess it pays off being friends with Bullet Bob Armstrong. And it also helps when Les, I think it's Les's fault because Les was even saying from the start that, like, oh, he already has 2 wins. If he wins, this one, like, Les fucked it all up. And I blame Les for this. I think it was like, or maybe they're just being deliberately obtuse with it. And I'm just blaming Les because, I don't know, I'm just that kind of person. I like blaming Les Thatcher.
I think Les screwed it up and he confused Bob.
And somehow they both confused Jim Cornette. Yeah, because the prior TV taping, Kendo defeated Dirty White Boy by countout, which I don't remember, but I'll take ProWrestlingHistory.com's word for it. It was only 5 weeks ago, and I don't remember that. Poor Chris Hamrick's getting title shot after title shot after title shot and never wins. Yeah, so Tracy wins for the 4th time, gets the $5,000. I didn't look at next week's results because I try not to spoil anything, but I'm going to bet we have a new Beat the Champ next week. They're not even going to bring it up. So let's go to the end of the show with a Jim Cornette promo, and I'm going to play it on for Bob Caudle so long because he's got a big announcement for the future of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And it's funny that they mentioned OJ in the last segment. But let's go to Bob and Jim Cornette.
Hey, fans with us right now. I tell you, a little more than I think he needs a heart pill. We're going to have to give this guy oxygen or something. When Road Warrior Hawk was introduced, I thought you were going to
What do you think I'm supposed to do? What do you think I'm supposed to do? That guy is a convicted murderer. He's a felon. He tried to kill me. Do you realize that? He attempted to take my life at Starrcade 86, a 25-foot scaffold, and they knocked me off. I was clinging for dear life, and they were stomping at my fingers. Road Warrior Hawk, Smoky Mountain Wrestling should not allow this, and I have a good mind. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. If Smoky Mountain Wrestling allows Road Warrior Hawk to come in here for the Night of Legends at Fire on the Mountain, then me and Bruiser and the whole union, the whole Federation of International Thugs and Eliminators, we vow to go on strike. I will put Smoky Mountain Wrestling to a standstill because we will go on strike unless they ban Road Warrior Hawk from appearing here and trying to kill me again. I'm getting out of here. Come on, Bruiser, let's get out of here.
Oh, he's still plenty upset, fans, no doubt about that. We'll see you next week. We're going to hear from Hawk next week. Also, we're going to take a look at a tag team called the Gangstas. All that and more right here next week on Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And until then, so long for now.
The Gangstas are on their way.
I'm so excited.
Yep.
So
and it's funny because it's forgotten that everyone thinks the Gangstas' first promo was the promo at Night of the Legends. Nope. They do at least 1 or 2 before that show.
So Cage Match has a lot of shit wrong on the Smoky Mountain shows because I was going to look at Tracy Smothers' 3rd Beat the Champ TV title reign. And it only lists 3 defenses because it doesn't have the Stephen Dunn match listed as a title match. It, in fact, has it listed as a dark match along with the Thrillseekers versus James Atkins and Larry Santo, which we also saw.
Yeah, Cage Match needs to get their shit together. Come on, Cage Match.
Yeah.
Do you think Jim Cornette and Tammy maybe need to merge their funds together and maybe get one lawyer to work on both their cases at once?
They should.
Like maybe just do a class action lawsuit against Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
There you go.
Yeah, they could split the costs and go from there. But yeah, so they know what you're going to say, and I know what I'm going to say, but they keep talking about Hawk being the one to throw Cornette off the scaffold, and it's not fucking Hawk. But we're just going to move on with our lives here. So, 129 down, 71 to go. And strap in your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen, because we have 11 months of New Jack.
I did not know they were there that long.
Yeah, because they were there for just under a year. Because they no-showed the last two shows they're supposed to come in for, or like one no-showed one event and the other no-showed the other one. And because they were going in to do they're coming in for ECW. When they debut in ECW on July 1st, 1995, against Public Enemy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But they are tailor-made for ECW.
Yes.
And you could say, well, New Jack, because Mustafa, let's be honest, Mustafa was never going to go anywhere on his own. You could say New Jack cost himself some money by being New Jack. He would have been less of a fit in one of the big two companies than Sabu was. And Sabu really wasn't a fit in either of those two companies.
I'm still sad that we didn't get New Jack being the guy who stabbed John Cena in the nightclub.
Nope, it was Jesus. And I just remember, like, even when I was young and stupid, and they're bringing Cena out on TV after the stabbing, and Michael Cole's like, "Wow, look at that scar," and I'm like, "What fucking scar?"
I just remember that they had a pay-per-view match, like, and it was like a Falls Count Anywhere or something. Yep. It was like a 10-minute walk-in brawl that was so motherfucking boring.
Yep. I thought they're gonna say what they did next. They then put it on TV the next week on SmackDown. I don't know if it was on purpose or maybe they ran short, but they aired the entire match for free on SmackDown the next week.
The match is so fucking boring that I remember how bored I was 20 years later.
That Armageddon 2004 pay-per-view, like SmackDown 2004, like there's this, like, if hell is a real place, they're airing 2004 SmackDown on it. Because, like, the Great American Bash, Armageddon, like one of the best parts of Armageddon was Kurt Angle versus Santa Claus.
Okay, I had to look at the results to remember any other thing from that card, and then I remember the one redeeming quality of the show. Do you remember
the Miz in the face?
Do you remember Funaki's knock joke to Spike Dudley right before their cruiserweight title match?
No, I just remember Funaki winning the cruiserweight title.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Armageddon.
Armageddon who?
Armageddon, your cruiserweight title.
Huh.
Because
oh Lord,
this was when Funaki was SmackDown #1 announcer. So
that's he was interviewing
they
his
had
opponent.
Yes, they had him interview his opponent before their title match.
That was also, and please don't tell me why I remember this. The finish of the main event was Heidenreich getting out of the mental hospital and costing the Undertaker the match against Bradshaw. Because it was a four-way with Undertaker, Booker T, and Eddie Guerrero. And like after Survivor Series, Heidenreich went into a mental hospital and Paul Heyman got him out.
Yeah.
That is a thing that happened.
I have not seen that show. Like, I think I've only seen it once, and it was, probably 2005, early-ish. I remember liking that four-way.
I still remember, I don't know why. It must have been a stipulation that he couldn't have the cabinet interfere at all. Because, like, he's in the back, and he's talking to them, and he's all forlorn, and be like, man, this is it, yada, yada, yada. And he walks from his locker room all the way through the backstage area and through gorilla position and out to the ring, like in one straight shot. I remember that was really awesome.
I remember I hated his title reign so much. And then by the end, it was so over with me because of the ridiculous ways that he kept retaining it. We talked about this on the show before. The fucking finish of the barbed wire steel cage match is phenomenal.
It was chef's kiss. Oh God, that legitimately, whoever came up with that finish, it's the fuck finish of all fuck finishes, and it was fucking great.
Yes, it was.
Oh God. SmackDown 2004, Heidenreich raping Michael Cole.
Yeah.
I probably can't write raping Michael Cole in the show description, can I?
Please don't.
Heidenreich reading a poem to Michael Cole, because that's technically what happened there.
There you go.
Do you remember the greatest team that never happened? Heidenreich and Snitsky.
I like what you do to babies.
Thank you. I like your poetry.
I think it was the other way around, but yeah.
Yeah. I hate caskets. I know you hate caskets. I don't like them either. But I like you, John. I like you too, Gene.
It's such a shame that that we didn't get our Brothers of Destruction against Snitsky and Heidenreich WrestleMania match. Instead, we got fucking Undertaker against Randy Orton. I'm kidding. That match was great.
Yes. Undertaker versus Randy Orton was a great match. And when I was 20-ish years old, I thought Randy Orton was going to break the streak.
A lot of people did.
But what was
that? A
A
lot of people did. I think that was kind of the first year that they really made a big deal about the streak.
Outside of when he went to 10-0, that was a big deal, but that was kind of more in passing.
That was a Flair match, right? Because I remember him doing the 10 fingers after it.
Yes, and I remember a lot of people thought Triple H was going to win it at WrestleMania 17 because that was the first time it got really mentioned, was that Undertaker was undefeated. And I think what was supposed to happen was because Triple H was going to turn babyface to take on Austin after Austin turned heel. And then Triple H didn't want to be a babyface. So we got to put somebody in that role. And so Undertaker's got to beat you at WrestleMania.
I remember when Undertaker hit the tombstone, and it was the first time that he had hit the tombstone since the night he came back as the American Badass. And they had bumped the referee, and I just remember the great JR call, "The Undertaker can count to 3:33 or till tomorrow."
I don't remember that one, but it sounds great. That was wasn't that the one where they bumped the referee and he went into a fucking coma? He was out for 10 minutes.
Yeah, because they did a whole fucking walk-in brawl while the referee took a nap.
Yes, I think that's when Undertaker chokeslammed Triple H off some scaffolding into the gym pit. That looked like such a cozy pit to take a bump in. I would have taken a bump in that. Oh God. What else? Ricky Starks and Obafemi is going to be the next NXT title match. It's not Ricky Starks. I'm sorry, Ricky Saints.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. JC Jane, who's a very attractive young lady, won the NXT Women's title, defeating Tatum Paxley, who I forgot won the belt. There's a reason she won it 23 days ago, so it wasn't the great title reign of all time or anything.
Honestly, the only reason that I could tell you who the NXT champion is right now is because I just happened to see the picture of Jade Cargill and CM Punk and Ricky Starks and Cody.
Yeah. So speaking of CM Punk specifically, I'm going to Dynamite tomorrow because we're taping this on Tuesday. So I'm going to Dynamite tomorrow. So I was looking through my closet to what shirts I had that were clean, and I have one AEW shirt that's clean, and specifically one wrestling shirt, but one AEW shirt in particular, and it's my CM Punk shirt. And I'm like, I texted Aubrey, and I messaged Aubrey, and I'm like, I know you would never say to me that I can't help out at the heels table, which I'm gonna be at. So if you're going to Dynamite yesterday, go find me at the heels table and say hi. I know you would never tell me I couldn't help out at the table because of what I'm wearing, but even I am smart enough to not wear a CM Punk shirt, even if it's the AEW CM Punk shirt, to the heels table. It might be counterproductive.
Yep.
I think the other thing that this has proven, I need to do my fucking laundry soon because, I don't have a lot of clean shirts right now.
I still regret not wearing my Outlaw Mud Show shirt to All In Texas just for the irony.
In front of 30,000 people or however many people were there.
Yeah.
How do you think? I know at this point it'll be 2 years since the last one, but how do you think they're going to do at Wembley next year?
Less than the first two.
You don't think they'll get to 50?
I think might get to 50 depending on the card.
So John Cena's got 2 matches left. Next Saturday, Survivor Series against Dominic, and then Saturday night's main event. Do you think he puts the belt back on Dom?
I was just wondering that because his last match is against whoever wins the tournament, which I believe everyone assumes is going to be Gunther.
Yep.
I just feel like having Gunther win the Intercontinental title would be a step backwards.
Yeah, and I think we talked about it on this show, or if I didn't, I talked about it somewhere. I think this would be a great springboard that Gunther beats Cena in Cena's last match. He then goes on, wins the Rumble, and takes on Cody at Mania. And that might be the actual plan, but I feel like whoever takes on Cena has to be in a WrestleMania main event. You can't be John Cena's last opponent and 3 months later be, somewhere in the middle of the card.
Well, Gunther should be on top of the fucking card anyway.
I agree. He should be the card. The Ring General.
I would, if it was up to me, I would have Dom catch one on him.
Yeah. I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. Dom, and I mean, you could point fingers and blame AEW. A couple years ago, there was a big debate which second generation star is going to be a bigger star, Dirty Dom or Hook, and Hook has definitely cooled off.
Look, I like Hook, but Dom is really fucking good. Really fucking good.
And I mean, hey, Dom's proven that he's truly a Guerrero. He's got that. He's got that Guerrero levels of heat that only people like Dirty Dom and Vicky could truly pull off.
Yeah.
Remember, I forget what show it was, but there was some pay-per-view where it was it really became obvious that Vicky is a fucking monster heel. It was 2007, 2008. She just came out and she couldn't even get out what the hell she was trying to say because the crowd just would not let her.
Yeah. It was really obnoxious.
Yes. Vicky Guerrero, I can't speak for whatever happened with her and her daughter, but the Vicky Guerrero I knew, super nice person.
What happened with her and her daughter?
Well, how she ended up leaving AEW because like there was a thing that came out with their daughter that she accused Vicky's new husband of shit, and Vicky basically said no, and you know you can only take people at the word, and certainly I was not on the Jericho cruise, but I do have a friend who was on the Jericho cruise and said that Vicky's daughter was throwing herself on people, to put it nicely.
By the way, did I tell you recently that another Eddie Guerrero daughter started in NXT?
Yes, I don't know if it's in NXT, but the other Vicky Guerrero, an Eddie Guerrero daughter, started wrestling at least.
Is it the other Eddie and Vicky daughter, or is it Eddie's other daughter?
I thought they had two.
They had two, and then they split up after Eddie had the drug problem and rehab and everything, and he hooked up with a woman that he met, and they had a daughter too. But then they didn't stay together, and Eddie and Vicky ended up getting remarried after that. So he has another daughter that isn't Vicky's.
So Shawl is the eldest. That's the one that is if it's Sherilyn that's wrestling, I think that's Vicky. It's Sherilyn is the one that's wrestling. Let me see here. Be good if I could spell her name. Let's see here. Yes, Sherilyn Guerrero is Vicky Guerrero's daughter, according to Google.
Yeah. Okay.
So take that for what it's worth.
Okay. Yeah. She was born in 1995. The other one's name is Kaylee. She was born in 2002.
And that does add up. But yeah. So that's pretty much it. So anything else you want to say before we finish things up?
I think we about covered it.
All right. Well, so long for now, wrestling fans.
Bye.